Mild drama played out before the Abuja Division of the Court of Appeal on Thursday as two senior lawyers locked horns over the case that is seeking to sack the 27 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly that are loyal to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. Trouble ensued after a special panel the appellate court constituted to hear all the matters relating to the political crisis in Rivers State called up the appeals for hearing. The appellate court had scheduled a total of 11 appeals involving different parties in the state for hearing. Among the cases listed for hearing was an appeal which was filed by the People's Democratic Party. However, when the matter was called up, two lawyers, Mr. B.F. Foloronsho and Mr. J.Y. Musa, separately announced their appearances for the PDP. While Musa SAN told the appellate court that he was mandated by the party to withdraw the appeal, Foloronsho told the court that no such directive came from the party. Following the controversy, the three-man special panel, led by Justice Onyekachi Otisi, acknowledged that it got a letter from the PDP indicating that it did not authorize the appeal. The panel added that the PDP, in its letter to the court, which was signed by its acting national chairman and secretary, applied to discontinue the case. Consequently, he queried the two lawyers about how they were briefed to appear in the matter. Whereas Musa SAN maintained that he was briefed by the Alhaji Umar Damagum-led executives, Foloronsho said he was duly assigned the case by the national legal advisor of the party, whom he said has the authority to handle all legal matters involving the party. Both lawyers claimed that they got hearing notices to appear for their appeals. In view of the development, the appellate court panel ordered the two lawyers to go back to the PDP and sort out the issue. The issue of which the counsel that has been briefed should be clarified by the 29th respondent and the court notified. The court continues to say this is not an issue this court can delve into at this time. Justice Otisi held as she adjourned some of the appeals to January 23, 2024. Let me start with you, Ugochukwu. What do you make of this drama that played out in the appeal court?
First of all, I would like a clarification on the case that is being appealed. I don't really know the case because PDP have a lot of cases here and there. So if you wouldn't mind, I want
the case that was seeking to sack the 27 lawmakers of the Rivers State House of Assembly.
Yeah. So we have gone through this particular era before. I think in the last it was in either August or September. We had two representations when the national chairman with the national secretary and also you could see the interest of the national publicity secretary of PDP, Olognaban, and the legal advisor national of the PDP, their interest and the alliances, which when this case came up, we clearly come to the know that PDP national is being factionalized because those people in the camp of the national publicity secretary and the national legal advisor are those who are backing who have forces backing them from the camp of the PDP Governors Forum chairman in the person of Bala Mohammed. And in another breath, you have those who are aligning with the acting chairman, Damagun, and Anyanwu, who is the Secretary National of the PDP, who has been accused of being the lieutenants of the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. And those who are in the camp of Bala Mohammed are those who are sympathetic to the governor of Rivers State, Seminary Fubara's camp. Those who are, who are bent on going ahead with the purported defection of the 27 lawmakers in Rivers State, while in another leg you have the Damagun camp and the National Secretary of PDP camp, Anyanwu, and also those who are also sympathetic to Nyesom Wike, who is also in the driving seat or the political godfather of those who are in the Martin Samehule camp. So we had this issue before now, and it's reoccurring. I just see it as a distraction. They are buying time, because if you look at the cases we have had, the cases that have turned up from the law courts, you will understand that this particular Folorunshaw and those people that are being sent by the legal advisor are inimical to the healing of what is going on in PDP. They are inimical to the progress of PDP national. They are also inimical to the administration of Governor Simlaye Fubara, whom they are claiming to be sympathetic to. Because if you go through the courts, the judgments of the courts, the one by Justice Lefu, the one by Justice Motoshaw, and the appeal court, let us even leave the lower courts. The appeal court has also adjudicated on 2 cases bordering on the one of defection, and who is the authentic Speaker of the Rivers State House Assembly, by affirming the judgment of Omotoshaw delivered on 22nd of January 2024. Then another case that was clearly stated by the appeal court is also the case involving the rightful Speaker of the Rivers State House Assembly. So going by that, PDP, who has just come out of a National Executive Council after a whole lot of back and forth, which we termed it a make-or-ma meeting, and which I sat here and told you that Damagu is going nowhere, that meeting will not, be the end of Damagu, that if they do it, PDP might be shooting themselves on the foot. So if PDP, as a political party, is selling themselves the truth, and with the outcome of that next meeting, I don't see any reason why there should be 2 representations from the national. That means it is showing us that PDP just came out to play to the gallery. The chairman PDP Governors Forum, which is Bala Mohammed, just played to the camera. All the things he said after the visit of Damagu to him, and all the things he said, and all the purported peace that he said that PDP is not factionalized. Remember that there was someone coming from the North Central who emerged as the PDP North Central vice chairman, who declared himself as the chairman of PDP National. So if by the words of Bala Mohammed that PDP is one family, and all those infractions and distractions then was a thing of the past. So what are we seeing now? Is what is on ground, given the drama that played out in the court and what we had last month from the PDP stakeholders, they are nothing to write home about. So PDP is still immersed in a very turbulent waters, which is not healthy for PDP, which is not healthy for an opposition party like PDP, which is not healthy for a big and mega party as PDP to reposition herself for 2027. So PDP are not telling themselves the truth. And this particular my drama that played out of 2 representations, the chairman of the party, when this issue came out clearly to say that despite the fact that the legal advisor state can have a say in a case concerning a political party, but according to the PDP constitution, the national had to send a representation, and there's also the national chairman that has the powers to ask the legal advisor to withdraw a case on behalf of the party. The legal advisor is not the image maker of the party. He's not the herdsman of the political party. Right. So he has no powers to go and interfere in an ongoing political process, which the party is still fighting the battle of their lives in trying to reposition itself in Rivers State.
One would say that he is the national legal advisor, and by his position has the right to officially superintend or officially handle legal matters pertaining to the party.
That is laughable.
All right.
It's laughable, Laurentia, in the sense that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu appointed the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Can the Minister of Justice go and withdraw a case on behalf of the Nigerian state without directive from Mr. President? So we look at the people that were arrested during the End Bad Governance protest. The Attorney General knows what is right to do. Look at the case of Nnamdi Kanu. Look at the discontinuation of Igboho's case and all those people. It is from the advisory gotten from Mr. President, from his legal team, that will let him look at he weighs the cons and pros of whatever matter and decides to act on it.
All right.
So in this case, the arrowhead in PDP is Damagoo, whether you like it or not. Okay. So it is only lawful, and it is only moral, and it is only the process of natural law that you listen to your superior. So if Damagoo is dancing to the left and the national advisor is dancing to the south, it shows you clearly that the house is divided.
Right, very well. Zoe, what do you make of this story?
Well, I would like to also get a clarification. This conflict that came up, was it in a regular court or the panel set up?
The appeal court. The appeal court said, yes, the appeal court president set up a 3-man special panel to consolidate all the cases in Rivers State, all the appeal cases in Rivers State, and give judgment over them. So now they have consolidated 11 cases. And one of the cases where this issue now happened, this drama happened, was a case of the case against the 27 lawmakers.
Well, let me quickly add to what my colleague here said. He was talking about the PDP as an opposition party. I disagree to that, because a party that is an opposition to itself cannot be an opposition to the government. So that's just the truth.
That's where the opposition
yes, I haven't said that. You know, this situation brings to mind the song by the Idris Abdul Karim, when he said Nigeria jaga jaga, everything scatter scatter. This is what you get in a country like this. It's what is transparent in PDP is just the fact that there is no rule of law. People are no longer being governed, or institutions are no longer being governed by laws, because, see, systems are run by laws. And when once, people follow, the law, there will be no issue for conflict. It's when people go out of the law to pursue their personal interests, which is what is playing out in the PDP crisis, that you have conflict like this. And for me, I will go beyond. I'll look at it from another perspective, from what my colleague have done, and I will go beyond just the conflict that came up as a result of legal representation. It goes beyond that. My own is to probe into the judiciary. Okay? Now, what has led to setting up a panel? Because if from the initial ab initio, these matters that came up with regards to Rivers State and PDP are mostly constitutional matters. And if the judges who are involved in these matters have given judgments according to the laws, we will not be where we are today. As far as I'm concerned, the setting up of a panel to review judgment and cases that are coming from PDP and Rivers State in particular is a failure of the judiciary. That is how I looked at it. Because in the first place, if they have done the needful, we will not need. You can imagine the Supreme Court or any other court begin to get review of every judgment that has been given in the past. We will make progress in the society. And that's why I'm calling on the Nigerian judiciary to actually take a clue from what is happening in America. Is a very good example for the Nigerian judiciary to watch. You see that the same, maybe different circumstances, but in every country, as particularly America now, there are political crises, where the ruling party and the opposition party are having issues, and they have been going to court. But you can see the American judiciary distance itself from every political influence. Now, you remember when former President Donald Trump, now going to be the 47th president, when he went to court in the 2020 election, the judiciary distanced and they told him, look, we don't have evidence to your claims and all this. They sent him away. Now, wind back to currently, especially from last year, the ruling party, Biden-led Democrat government, was taking Trump to court on different issues, including his private life, everything. You can see the judgment that are, even when the lower courts were influenced by the government to take decisions against the opposition, when the matters go to the appeal court, to the Supreme Court, they gave judgment according to the law. Most of those cases, they dismiss them. That is a country where laws are functional, where institutions are functional. So when those judgments are given, for example, the issue of immunity, for more than 200 years, presidents of America have been enjoying immunity. Only for this Biden government to come, because Donald Trump was involved, they said there is no immunity for him. The Supreme Court threw away that matter, that it doesn't exist. For you to stop immunity of President Trump, you must go back to the House of the Congress and amend the law. If he can't do that, immunity stand. And they throw away every case they brought against Donald Trump as far as immunity is concerned. When that judgment was given, Biden have no option. They accepted it because the judiciary has positioned himself not to be influenced or take side in any of the political divide. Bringing back to Nigeria, this is not the case in Nigeria, and that is why we are having the problem where after judgments are given, they are also setting up panels to review such judgment. So when situations are like this, it is not just the PDP and their legal representative. It's the entire system that has gotten corrupt. It's the entire system that has gotten confused for pursuing personal interests as against the interests of the society using the rule of law. That's my take on this matter.
Well, you used you cited the example when you were making a case with your argument with the United States of America, and interestingly, when you were talking about immunity, the case of immunity against Donald Trump, interestingly, you also mentioned that matter was appealed up to the Supreme Court.
Yes.
So there was an appeal.
Yes.
And the Supreme Court upturned it. What is the job of the appeal court? Is it not to look into matters concerning the judgments of the lower courts? And when you're not satisfied with the judgment of appeal court, you go to Supreme Court. So it is the instance you gave with respect to America is exactly what is playing out in Nigeria.
No,
where a lower court gave judgment, and it was that particular judgment was challenged up onto the Supreme Court in the instance of United States. So what exactly is the difference between what the instance you cited and that of Nigeria?
Yes, there's a difference. It's not exactly in the sense that, and this is an indictment to the judiciary. If it is the same thing, there will be no need to set up panels of review or judicial review if the needful has been done. That is just a fact. So that is an indictment. Let me
explain what.
So if they have followed the procedure, from the first court of instance, a judgment has been given. Any aggrieved party that is not comfortable with the judgment goes to the appeal court. And if judgment is given in the appeal court, any party that is not satisfied goes to the Supreme Court. So there will be no need to create an independent judicial body. That's the point I'm making.
Let me explain what happened in this instance. These are in River State right now with the crisis going on. There are so many litigations, both from people that have the locus and people that do not even have locus to be part of a matter. Now, because of these litigations, the appeal court, a lot of judgments have been given by the lower court and is being appealed. And some right now has even been appealed up to Supreme Court. Now, the appeal court president, looking at the litigations, the several litigations from River State before it, now decided to
compress it,
to create a special panel of the appeal court. It's not a tribunal, right? It is still the appeal court sitting. However, a 3-man special panel to consolidate all these cases, marry them together, and give a judgment on them. Do you understand?
Okay.
So this is the appeal court. handling these matters. The difference is that instead of saying this is in the court of justice, this appeal court of this, appeal court number 2,
Yes.
number 5 and number 16,
Yes.
all of them are in appeal court number this. All the cases are consolidated, because when you look at these cases, they are all similar to a large extent. Maybe different parties, let's say for example, there was a case of the River State elders.
Elders, yes.
With respect to the authenticity of the
House.
27 lawmakers. That was struck out. Now, this is another case with regards to the 27 lawmakers, right? There was a case with regards to the budget, the River State elders taking the governor to court. There are also cases with regards to the presentation of budgets to the House of Assembly. So now when you look at it, there are similar cases by different persons lying in different courts. And the appeal court president, in her wisdom, decided to consolidate it and form a panel to superintend over all these matters and give a judgment, in order not to waste the time of the court. So, Zoe, what is the special thing now that is different that the appeal court, or that is, what would I say, with the instance you gave in the United States, that their judiciary is strong, however, the lower court, you also said, when you were,
yes.
in fact, let me even pick your word.
Yes.
When you were saying their judiciary is strong and their system is not corrupt, you also indicted yourself by saying that they gave a judgment in the case of immunity. They gave a judgment, the lower court gave a judgment that's already biased. And you said that they gave a judgment that was influenced by the government of the day. And it was appealed up to the Supreme Court, or the highest court in the United States, that upturned that judgment. So, is the judiciary in the United States, according to the analysis you've given to us, is the judiciary in the United States without stain?
No, not at all. No country is an isolation
So
when it comes to the issue of.
Then are they now
when it comes to
the.
see, let's put these things. Let's put this thing in perspective.
All
when
right,
you're talking about, now remember the panel that was set up. Now in judicial processes, we have what we call alternative resolution, okay, alternative conflict resolution. That is not the case here. If that is the case, we will understand. And that is why I said the setting up of this panel is a failure of the system and is an indictment on the judiciary. Because if it is the appeal court president or judge, whatever, have looked at it and said, look, there can be an let's look at this thing. There are political issues majorly. So let's look at it. Let's set up an alternative dispute resolution committee to look at these matters more politically. That's a different thing.
Out of court
yes,
settlement.
out of court settlement. That's a different
That's the way
thing.
I was looking at it.
I'm coming.
That was even the way I was looking at
Thank you very much.
Arbitration.
Arbitration, yes. That is quite a different. That is what we will understand.
Yes.
But in a situation, look, when matters have come to the court, the first thing that the court will look at is jurisdiction. It doesn't matter the number, the proliferation of cases. It doesn't matter. That is why the courts are there. And that's why we have different levels of courts. And the first thing to do when matters come up is jurisdiction, which I think the court itself or the judges have failed in looking at the jurisdiction. And this can be ascribed to the personal interest or political influence that have come on the judges, because if they have taken care of the issue of jurisdiction, then the next thing is for competent court of jurisdiction to listen to this matter. Now, because this has failed, there is failure in this place. That is why we are having judgment from court A and another judgment from court B in the same case. So that is where I am coming in to say that it is a failure of the system that has led us to where we are today. Ordinarily, there will be no need, if the courts have given judgment, there will be no need for review, because the judgment will stand, and that is the law.
All right, Zoe, this is much more, I would like to say, now you have put it in perspective.
Thank you very much.
Now you have put it in perspective. Even though I still have some questions, but let me get to Ifeanyi. Ifeanyi, what do you have? Well, you wanted to say something.
Yeah,
yes.
I just looked at the judgments that we have gotten and what led to the mild drama that played out between the PDP as a political party sending two representatives, legal representations to a case involving them, still showing us that there is a big crack in PDP national. So And this fight of winner takes it all, instead of trying to pull together to see how a reconciliation can take place between Nyesom Wike and Fubara, that Rivers State will move forward, you see that people are still on the ground, pulling in different directions because of what they stand to gain. And it is not healthy for the development of Rivers State. That is where I was coming from, because if PDP has taken into cognizance of what they represent and how PDP as a political party has lost the local governments in Rivers State, they should have not put up this show of shame in that particular court. And from the leg of what Zoe said, I was even thinking in my mind that this is forming a kind of out-of-court settlement. Because once it comes to litigations and turning out judgments from the temple of justices, it is not something to be biased or sentimental about. But I'm seeing a kind of someone who is afraid of the judgments that is being turned out. As from what we know all through these litigations, who has been on the driver's seat, which people are always on appeal, which people, the people that are running for appeal, means that there is potency in the judgments that have been turned out from the lower courts. And remember, this issue of jurisdiction is what had made the government of Rivers State, lose some of their cases. Because if you also go to what played out in NJC and other, which we'll come to, I will now, make some clarifications about it. If the issue of, those lawyers who are contracted by different camps tell them the truth about which court has the jurisdiction to hear their matters, in order not to extort them for monetary gain, they will tell them, Oga, this particular case will not fly in this particular cause. I will not have a problem with Rivers State Board of Internal Revenue. I will go to the Federal High Court. That's judicial suicidal, because in the first case, I should go to the State High Court. If I have problem with Federal Board of Internal Revenue, I should go to the Federal High Court. Common sense does that. You don't need to be a lawyer. So in this case that they are playing to the gallery, I'm now asking a question. Who is afraid of this particular judgments that has been duly delivered from the lower courts and the appeal court, even the appeal court you're talking about now, that are setting up this particular panel, has also adjudicated in some cases that came from Rivers State, from the lower courts, especially the judgment of Justice Joseph Omotosho has been duly, trashed, and the judgment given by the appeal court. And that is where you saw the governor of Rivers State running helter-skelter, because the justices of the appeal court affirmed all that Omotosho said. And that is the authenticity of where we are standing, that Martin Samehule is the authentic speaker of Rivers State House of Assembly, giving that particular judgment. And that is where we are standing and say that the governor has to go and present the 2024 appropriation bill. If that has not been a case done and dusted with, we will not be going to the Supreme Court to appeal it. So in this particular instance, who is afraid? And what is the motion behind setting up this kangaroo, this kangaroo, what do you call it, panel? And what is the panel final outcome? Will it be binding on the two sides?
Let me come in.
Will it be binding on the two sides? That's why I'm confused.
Let me come here. I wish we would just stay within the confines of this topic.
No,
but you have raised a lot of issues, and fundamentally you have asked a very fundamental question, that who is afraid? I can answer that question. As of today, both camps are afraid. And that is why you are seeing them taking the backyard behind, front steps everywhere. Both sides have already committed blunders, okay, in whichever way you look at it, whether the governor's camp or the minister's camp. Again, I want to say that nothing will surprise me that will come out from this panel that they have set up, because the judges themselves have messed up themselves as far as this River State crisis is concerned. They have taken from their judgments, okay, they have taken, it seems there is a perception, public opinion, that the judges are taking side based on the judgment they are given. So these people cannot actually come up with a resolution that will, be generally accepted, that will change the perception of the public. If they come up with any judgment in favor of the minister's camp, the other people will look at it as bias. If they come up with judgment that will favor the governor, the other camp will look at it as bias. So going forward, these matters are actually political matters, and so far legal matters also, but so far the legal aspect, the judiciary have not lived up to expectation. So there are lack of faith, okay, in the judiciary. So what I would advise, unfortunately, we've gone that part before. It didn't work, where the president intervened at a point and it didn't work. But going forward, if this problem we have to solve, they have to come together and look at it from a political perspective. And that call for the major actors, the gladiators, to sit down and look at areas they have strengths, areas they have weaknesses, and then resolve. But I have to correct an impression that you said that from the plethora of judgment that have come up, that the 27 members of the River State, the Martins Amewule-led members of River State Assembly are the legal members of. I take exception to that. I'm coming. I take exception to that because no court of law, as of today, have given categorically made statement that the substantive matter of whether the 27 members of the River State House of Assembly are still members of the River State House of Assembly, or the what do you call him now, the former speaker, Heide Hedison, led House of Assembly as speaker, is the substantive one at that material time. These are the substantive matter. Every other matters that the judges are giving judgment with regards to budget, with regard to the governors being dictatorial, are just periphery. They have not attended to the matter. And I think that is a matter that the governor needs to appeal to the Supreme Court. And until the Supreme Court give judgment of the substantive issue of who is legally Speaker of the House of Assembly, as of the material time the budget was submitted, and considering the activities of the Martins Amewule-led members, are they still members of the River State House of Assembly? That is the only way this matter will be resolved legally. Otherwise, they should go political.
I want to chip in something, Laurentia. You know that I asked Zoe, the defection and the presentation of the budget 2024, purported presentation of the budget, which one came first? So if you're talking about all the legal matters, all the case filed by Martin Samuel and his brothers to Justice Omotosho's Federal High Court, and the purported defection and all that, and the presentation, which is the meat of the matter in all this, in the judgment of Omotosho, and being affirmed by the appeal court, which one came first?
See, let's
I just asked